Welcome to the deep dive. Today, you've brought us a really interesting set of interview questions for electrician assistants, right?
That's right. And we're going to sort of unpack what's really going on beneath the surface of those questions.
Yeah, because this is for anyone, really. Maybe you're thinking about this as a career. Maybe you're looking to hire someone.
Or even if you're just curious about, what keeps the lights on, it touches on so many skills.
Exactly. Not just the technical stuff, the wires and circuits, but also the problem solving, the safety focus, which is huge.
Oh, absolutely. And teamwork, too. These questions, they're kind of a roadmap, aren't they?
A roadmap, I like that, to what it takes to be good in this field.
Yeah, they're designed to get past just the textbook answers.
Mhm.
They want to see real-world skills, the right professional mindset.
So our goal here is to kind of decode that, give people a real sense of what the job involves.
Precisely. The demands and, the rewards, too.
And you found something interesting right off the bat about the field always changing.
Yes. The National Electrical Code, the NEC, it gets updated every 3 years.
Wow, every 3 years. That's frequent.
It really is. And it says a lot, doesn't it? It's not just about new rules.
What does it signal then?
Well, it signals a real commitment to safety, always improving it, and also integrating new tech. Things change fast.
So for someone in the field, it means you've got to keep learning. Adaptability.
Non-negotiable. A lifelong learning thing. So, okay, let's dive into the first big area these questions cover. Hands-on experience.
Right. Question 1. Hands-on experience in electrical installations. What does that actually entail?
Well, the examples they give are pretty broad. Reading blueprints, that's fundamental.
Right.
Then actually doing the work. Setting up wiring, conduits, installing switches, breaker panels, outlets, the whole system.
And it mentions large projects, too, so it's not just like wiring a lamp.
Definitely not. Think about wiring a new office building or maybe a factory. It gets complex, fast, lots of planning, coordination.
Right, and you need that practical experience to see how it all fits together.
Exactly. And crucially, how to do it safely, meeting all the codes. You just don't get that from a book.
No substitute for actually doing it.
None at all. And troubleshooting on the fly, that comes with experience too.
And it seems like learning from licensed electricians, that mentorship is key here.
Oh, absolutely vital. You absorb the best practices, you see how they troubleshoot tricky problems, you learn quality control.
That final check, making sure everything's right.
That's where experience really counts. Is it safe? Is it reliable? That takes a trained eye.
Which leads us neatly into the next big topic, doesn't it? Understanding the NEC.
The cornerstone, yeah. The National Electrical Code.
The questions make it clear this is the benchmark for design, installation, inspection, everything.
It really is. It's all about protecting people and property from, well, the dangers of electricity.
So it's not just a guideline, it's more like the law of the land for electrical work.
You could say that. It's the language of electrical safety. You need a deep, working understanding, not just glancing familiarity.
And going back to that 3-year update cycle.
Right. It hammers home that continuous learning point. You can't just learn it once.
You have to stay current, actively engaged.
Exactly. And it applies everywhere. Troubleshooting old systems, designing new ones. The NEC is always relevant.
Woven into the fabric of the job.
Couldn't have said it better. Okay, so from understanding the rules, let's talk about spotting problems. Identifying hazards on site.
Yeah, this feels very practical. Real-world stuff. What do you do if you see something dangerous?
The expected response is pretty clear-cut. First, secure the area. Stop anyone else from getting hurt.
Makes sense. Then what?
Alert your colleagues. Let your supervisor know immediately. Proper channels.
Containment and escalation. Got it.
And documenting it. That's important too. Creates a record, helps figure out why it happened, prevent it next time.
So it's about immediate safety, but also long-term prevention.
Precisely. Following safety protocols isn't just ticking a box. It's ingrained. It has to be.
The safety culture. Okay, so what about when things just aren't working right? Troubleshooting skills. That comes up next.
Absolutely fundamental. Things go wrong. Systems malfunction.
Yeah.
You need a logical way to figure it out.
They give an example, right? A circuit breaker keeps tripping.
Classic problem. Yeah. So the answer describes a methodical approach. Isolate the circuits one by one. Find the overload.
Okay, find the problem circuit. Then what was the fix?
In this case, it was too much load on one circuit.
Huh.
So divide the load, run some of it on a new circuit.
A practical solution. But the answer also mentions something else. Communication.
Yes, crucial point. It's not enough to just fix it. You need to explain it to the client, the homeowner.
Build that trust, right. Explain what happened, what you did.
Exactly. Technical skill plus clear communication. That's professional service. Okay, let's shift from fixing problems to preventing them, ensuring safety for yourself and others.
This sounds like the day-to-day habits, the routines,
It is. And number one is personal protective equipment, PPE,
like insulated gloves, safety glasses.
non-negotiable. And then the absolute golden rule. Turn off the power at the main breaker before you touch anything.
Rule number 1, definitely.
And use insulated tools. Another layer of protection. Never too careful.
And they mentioned checking the power is off.
With a voltage tester, yes. Always verify. Don't assume it's off. Check it.
Double check. Makes sense. And it's not just personal safety, team safety too.
Right. Clear communication is key. Safety briefings. Making sure everyone knows the plan, the risks.
And keeping the workspace tidy, that came up.
Seems small, but it's important. A cluttered space is an accident waiting to happen. Trips, falls. Keep it organized. It shows professionalism, too.
Attention to detail. Okay, another core skill. Reading blueprints and diagrams.
The visual language, as you said earlier. Essential.
So understanding all the symbols, the notes, the specs.
You have to. It's the plan. How can you build it or fix it later without understanding the plan?
Like trying to navigate without a map.
Exactly that. And it's crucial for troubleshooting, too. If something goes wrong, you need to trace it back on the schematic.
Find the source of the problem.
Right, and it helps communication with the whole team. Everyone's looking at the same map, speaking the same visual language.
Ensures everyone's on the same page. Okay, let's get practical. Installing a new residential circuit. Walk me through that.
Okay, so the example lays out the steps. First, you plan. Figure out the layout, calculate the load, how much power it needs.
Load calculation. That sounds important.
Crucial. You can't overload the circuit. Safety first. Then turn off the main power.
Always.
Then run the cables, maybe in conduits, connect the wires to the outlets or fixtures, then connect it back at the distribution board, the panel.
Making sure the wiring is correct. That was emphasized.
Hugely important. Wrong wiring means fire risk, shock risk. Then restore power and test everything thoroughly.
Test, test, test. Seems like a recurring theme.
It has to be. Okay, similar idea, but a specific repair. Replacing a faulty circuit breaker.
Another common task, I'd imagine.
Very common. Again,
Yeah.
Safety first. Main power off. Remove the panel cover carefully. Disconnect the old breaker. Clip in the new one. Connect the hot wire. Snap it into place. Put the cover back on.
Restore power. And
Test the new breaker.
Right.
Make sure it functions correctly.
yeah,
And again, using insulated tools throughout.
that safety message is constant.
It has to be. Now, what about when you get an urgent call? Something needs fixing now.
Right, this tests your response under pressure
Yeah,
and prioritizing.
exactly. First step, get the key info. What's the problem? Where is it? Then you need to triage. Is this more urgent than what I'm currently doing?
A balancing act.
It can be, but even if it's urgent, you don't cut corners on safety. Never.
So diagnose efficiently, fix it, but safely.
Right. Then double check the repair. And maybe offer some advice to prevent it happening again. That's good service.
That proactive piece again. Okay, speaking of pressure, the next question tackles that head on. Working under pressure.
Yeah, because it happens. Tight deadlines, emergencies like a storm knocking out power.
So how do you handle that? What are employers looking for?
They want to see you stay calm, stay focused, rely on your training and safety protocols even when things are hectic.
Methodical approach.
Yes, prioritize systematically. Panic is the enemy. A calm, organized response, always putting safety first, gets the job done.
Makes sense. Now, we touched on the NEC updates. How do assistants actually stay current with all these changing rules and tech?
It takes effort.
Yeah.
Can't be passive. The answers suggest several things. Industry training, workshops.
Okay. Formal learning.
Yeah. Also, reading trade magazines, online forums, staying plugged into the industry news.
And networking. Talking to other electricians.
Very important. Joining local groups, sharing experiences, learning from peers. It's a multifaceted approach.
So you need to be actively seeking out that information. Okay, what about the tools of the trade, specifically testing equipment?
Crucial skill. You need to be proficient. Not just know the names, multimeters, circuit testers, insulation resistance testers, but how to use them correctly.
And interpret the readings accurately.
Absolutely. The readings tell you what's going on. Inaccurate readings lead to bad diagnoses, potentially dangerous situations.
And keeping the equipment calibrated, maintained.
Essential for accuracy. And staying updated on new testing tools and methods is important too. Technology evolves here as well.
Right. Okay, let's talk precision. Why is it so vital in electrical work?
Well, the consequences of errors can be severe. Shock, fire. So precision isn't just nice to have, it's mandatory.
How do you achieve it?
By following procedures strictly, double-checking measurements, testing everything you install or repair, using good quality, well-maintained tools.
And that continuous learning piece again.
Yes, staying updated helps avoid errors. And teamwork, having someone else check your work. That cross-verification adds another layer of safety.
A second pair of eyes. Good practice. Now, collaboration often involves other tradespeople on site.
Very common, especially on construction or renovation jobs. The example mentions plumbers, carpenters.
How do you navigate that?
Clear communication is key. Talking to each other, coordinating schedules, making sure you don't interfere with or damage each other's work, respecting their part of the project.
Prevents conflicts, keeps things running smoothly.
Exactly. And you can actually learn a lot, understanding how all the different pieces of a building come together.
Broader perspective. Okay, back to core safety. Grounding. Why is correct grounding so critical?
It's absolutely fundamental. It provides a safe path for electricity to go into the earth if there's a fault. Prevents shocks, reduces fire risk.
A safety valve, essentially.
A very important one. The process involves connecting the system to the earth, usually with a copper rod driven into the ground.
And connecting that back to the panel.
Yes, and ensuring all the ground wires from the individual circuits are properly connected within the panel. Secure connections, no corrosion. Regular checks are important too.
So it needs to be done right and maintained. Got it. Now, looking ahead, renewable energy. How important is that for assistance?
Increasingly important. Solar panels, wind turbines, they're becoming much more common.
So familiarity is needed.
Definitely. Understanding how solar panels are wired, connected to inverters, batteries, maybe even some experience with small wind systems. It makes you more versatile.
A valuable skill set as the energy landscape shifts. And safety is still key there too, presumably.
Absolutely. Different technologies, but the same fundamental need for safe practices, plus some specific protocols for renewables.
Right. Now, sometimes assistants need to make decisions on the spot. Critical thinking.
Yes, initiative is valued.
Hmm.
The example was finding outdated, unsafe wiring during a job.
So what did the assistant do?
Instead of just ignoring it because it wasn't part of the original plan, they recognized the danger, brought it to the supervisor, and recommended addressing it immediately.
Prioritizing safety and doing the job right, even if it meant extra work.
Exactly. That's taking responsibility. It prevented a potential hazard and likely saved time and trouble down the road.
Good example. Now, are commercial and residential systems very different?
Yes, quite different in scale and complexity. Commercial buildings often use three-phase power for big machinery.
Whereas homes are usually
Single-phase power,
Yeah.
typically. The loads are different, the wiring methods can vary, even safety protocols might have specific nuances.
So experience in both is a plus.
Definitely broadens your capabilities. Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Dealing with clients. What if they're unhappy?
Customer service skills. Important in any trade.
Absolutely. The key steps are: listen carefully, don't interrupt, let them voice their concerns.
Okay, listen first, then.
Apologize for their dissatisfaction, even if you don't think you're at fault initially. Reassure them you want to make it right.
Show empathy.
Yes. Then, figure out how to fix the problem. If it's complex, maybe consult your supervisor. Keep the communication open and honest.
Resolve the issue professionally. Builds trust even out of a complaint.
It really can. Okay, back to the work itself. Quality control. How do you ensure the work is consistently good?
This seems related to precision.
It is. It's about being meticulous, following procedures every single time, adhering to safety regs, keeping your tools in good shape.
And double checking.
Always. Double-checking connections, testing thoroughly, no cutting corners. Quality and safety go hand in hand.
A mindset of thoroughness. Okay, getting a bit more technical now. Wiring a three-phase motor.
Right, this tests more specialized knowledge. First, you need to check the motor's specs voltage, frequency. Find the terminal block.
Then the connections.
Follow the wiring diagram precisely.
Yeah.
Connect the incoming power lines, L1, L2, L3, to the correct motor terminals, T1, T2, T3. Connect the ground wire properly.
Secure everything. Double check against the diagram.
Absolutely critical. No room for error here. Incorrect wiring can destroy the motor or cause a serious hazard.
Okay. Now, thinking about avoiding errors in the first place during installation, what are the key preventative measures?
It starts with understanding the plans, really knowing the schematics, checking wire sizes, load calculations before you even start.
Planning and preparation.
Yes. Then, always using the right PPE. Following lockout-agout procedures strictly so circuits don't get accidentally energized.
Tool maintenance again.
Yep. making sure your tools are in good condition and properly calibrated. And that continuous learning, staying updated on codes and best practices, helps you avoid common pitfalls.
It's a whole system of prevention. Okay, what about low voltage stuff? Data and communication lines.
Increasingly relevant. Smart homes, networked offices, electricians often handle this now too.
So experience is valuable.
Very. Installing, maintaining, troubleshooting things like Ethernet, coaxial cable, even fiber optics sometimes. Knowing how to test these systems.
Different types of cables, different safety rules, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's another dimension to the skill set.
Okay, what if the instructions you get are vague, incomplete?
Good question. Test initiative and judgment. First step. Try to get clarification. Ask questions.
Oh, if you can't.
Then you rely on your experience and knowledge. Break the task down logically. Keep your supervisor informed about the ambiguity.
And prioritize safety.
Always. If you're unsure about something that could be hazardous, stop and get definitive clarification. Don't guess when safety is involved.
Better safe than sorry. Makes sense. Now, describing a complex project, what makes for a good answer there?
It's your chance to show, not just tell. The example used was installing an advanced lighting control system.
So what did they highlight?
Their specific role, the
Huh?
technical skills involved like wiring and integration, the attention to detail needed, and any problem solving they had to do along the way.
Paint a picture of your capabilities in action.
Exactly. Tell a story that demonstrates your competence. Now, HVAC systems, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, electricians interact with those too, right?
Definitely, they need power.
They do.
Yeah.
So familiarity is good. Understanding the basic circuits, maybe some control systems, how to read their diagrams, troubleshoot common electrical faults.
And work safely on them, of course.
Always. Knowing different types of units is helpful too.
Okay, let's go deeper into troubleshooting. Diagnosing a faulty transformer. That sounds advanced.
It is. Requires a systematic approach. Start with a visual check. Any obvious damage, burning, leaks.
Then use instruments.
Yes, a multimeter to check voltages, primary side, secondary side. See if they match the specs. If it's more complex, you might need specialized gear, like insulation resistance testers.
And repair depends on the fault.
Right. Could be minor, could
Oh.
require full replacement.
Yeah.
But the key is careful diagnosis. And again, absolute safety, isolating it completely before touching it.
High stakes work. What about emergency generators?
Also, critical systems. Experience in installing them, maintaining them, troubleshooting both the portable kind and the permanent standby units.
Maintenance is key for those, I bet.
Definitely. Checking fuel, batteries, connections, making sure they'll actually work when needed, understanding the automatic transfer switches that control them.
And safety protocols for high voltage.
Paramount. These are serious systems.
Yeah.
Okay, nearly there. Time management. Electricians juggle a lot.
Multiple jobs, deadlines. How do you prioritize?
You need a system. Understand the scope of each task. Estimate the time needed. List everything out. Then prioritize based on urgency and importance.
Use tools to keep track.
Project management tools, calendars, simple lists, whatever works to stay organized and meet those deadlines.
Essential skill. And finally, taking initiative.
Yes, being proactive.
Yeah.
The example was spotting a code violation during an inspection that wasn't even part of the main job.
And bringing it up.
Yes. Noticing it, pointing it out to the supervisor, helping to fix it, that shows responsibility, commitment to quality, and safety. It prevents future problems.
Goes beyond just following orders, being part of the solution.
Exactly. That's what makes a really valuable team member.
Wow. Okay, that's a comprehensive look. This deep dive really unpacked what it takes. Let's try and sum up the key takeaways.
Sounds good. I think it's clear that technical skill is just the start, right?
Absolutely. You need that deep understanding of safety, especially the NEC, and you have to keep that knowledge current.
Right. And strong problem-solving skills are a must. Being able to diagnose issues logically.
Communication, too, with the team, with clients. Being clear, being professional.
And collaboration.
Right.
Working well with others, including other trades.
And underpinning it all is that commitment to continuous learning and taking initiative, being proactive.
Couldn't agree more. It's a dynamic field. You have to stay engaged.
So a final thought for our listeners to chew on. With all the smart tech coming online and the huge push towards renewable energy,
Yeah.
how is this role, the electrician assistant, going to evolve even more in the next few years? What new skills might become totally essential?
That is a great question. The landscape is definitely changing fast.
Something to think about. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.